Is it because he kisses his bicep? Kaepernick does. Is that why you don't like him?
No, but now I don't like him even more now
Yeah,
because you told me that.
He kisses his bicep.
No,
That's his,
I don't know.
That's his celebration.
I feel a part of me, and it's bad, and it's probably totally wrong, but part of me just feels like it's the team around him that got him there. Like, he's good.
Yeah, but he was running over motherfuckers.
That's true. That's true. I mean, he was running all over, but, when you have a running back like Frank Gore, who's an absolute beast, you know, I mean, then you have him who can run. I mean, then you have your wide receivers. I mean, you got Vernon Davis. You got, Crabtree.
Yeah.
I mean, you look
He's got a good team.
You look at Baltimore.
Yeah.
As far as receivers, they don't have the same weapons.
Bolden,
that's it.
Yeah.
Most of their work.
But Flacco's got a gun. Oh, and they got Torrey Smith.
That's true. That's true. But still, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like overall, I think Flacco's a better quarterback.
Yeah, pocket quarterback.
Yeah.
Kaepernick tried to throw some interceptions last week. Like, he tried to throw a couple, and the Falcons dropped him. I think that's what's going to be the difference. I think he's going to throw a couple picks. I think it's going to be close. I think he's a stud. But I think the Ravens are just a little too experienced. It's almost like you have to warm up to win in something that big, I feel like. I just don't think they're ready.
Well, on experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say what you want, but experience, you can't replace the experience,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like, I think the reason why is I think I look at Kaepernick as another form of Tebow. It's just he can throw the ball better. You know what I mean?
He does not want to hear that.
No, I know.
Kaepernick does not want to hear that he's another form of Tebow.
No, I know,
the ball
but would you not agree with me?
I hope he's not listening right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I really like you.
Well, we're here live at the Warrior Poet Project with my man, Kane Waselenchuk.
That's it.
All right, I got it. Who is arguably, and maybe not even arguably, the most dominant athlete in his sport in the modern era. And you're saying, no way. How come I've never heard of this dude? That's impossible. How have I not heard of the most dominant athlete in his sport in the modern era? It's because his sport is racquetball, which is an awesome sport. But
yes,
people just don't give enough of a shit. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of an understatement, but yeah.
Yeah. So what's your record like here, man? You've got like 7 world championships. Is that right? How many world championships?
I got 7 world championships. January 4th was exactly 4 years since I lost.
4 years since you lost.
Yeah, actually, now that I just said it, I'm still in it, so it's hard for me to think outside the box like that. But when I just said it, I was like, 4 years. Like, I did a lot of stuff in 4 years outside of racquetball, and I mean, it's a long time.
It's a long time.
It is a long
So how
time.
many matches do you play a year?
I mean, we're talking 12 tournaments. I would say probably at least 100 matches. I mean, give or take.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. I mean,
100 matches. And, the thing is people aren't really even that close. Like, when we're out of this run of, 400 matches over 4 years, I mean, were there any real super close calls that you had to deal with here? Or?
Yeah, there was a couple. I mean, it's so funny because if you think about, people look at, oh, he hasn't lost for 4 years. He never plays bad. But it's really not the case. I mean, there's times that I've played bad, and, this last tournament in January, I mean, now granted, no excuses, but I had a little bit of body issues going on, and that went a little closer than what I wanted. But before that, it had been like, I don't even know, 2.5 years since it was like even close. Like, usually, I mean, you have to play a best of 5 to 11, win by 2. So first one who wins 3 games. And I mean, 2 years ago was my best year. I only lost 3 games the whole year. So that was my best year of my whole career. And, though I'm still undefeated, I mean, it was just a magical year for me.
Yeah. So to put that, any other racket sport doesn't even nothing even close to that happens. I mean, tennis all the time. You see some dominant runs where people haven't given up a set in a couple months.
Yeah, Djokovic last year, didn't he have like something like 40 wins in a row?
Yeah,
and I mean, that was all over SportsCenter, you know?
Yeah, but he's a hero. I mean, people are waving flags.
And here I am at home looking at him.
He's got lines that look like Disneyland for people trying to blow him, men and women, like whatever. You know?
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And here I am at home looking at this saying, this is bullshit. 45? I won 45 in 4 tournaments.
Yeah.
You know?
And the prize money is a little different.
Oh, it's a little. a little.
Do you know how much those what do you get from winning Wimbledon these days?
Oh, geez. Way more than what I get. Probably 50, 75% more than what I get.
Well, you're way underestimating that. They got to be they're making millions.
Yeah,
millions.
You know, honestly, I don't know.
Endorsements and
I'm going to say 1.5 million for first.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
that's a big difference.
What I win in a weekend is probably the cost of a ticket.
Yeah. They pay for your trip the next time you come out.
Yeah.
They're like free entry fee to the World Championship.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about maybe just calling Djokovic up or Federer and asking if they want to sponsor me personally, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man. So what is it? I mean, racquetball's high intensity, high action. Why is it that you think it hasn't quite captured the mainstream viewing, you know, kind of competitive element like tennis has, for example?
Well, I think that it's not really television friendly. I mean,
too fast?
It's just, there's so much happening on the court that it's really, you know, you need like 8 cameras, and those cameras are switching every second to try and get the best angle. And I mean, we were just recently on the tennis channel over Thanksgiving, and even I was watching it going, where did that ball go? Like, I mean, so if I'm doing it, the average person is not going to have a clue, which in my, you know, I think that it discourages them from watching, you know? And, of course, we're playing like, I mean, most people want to call it a box, but it's actually called a court. I hear that a lot. It's a box, you know, and I don't like that. I don't like that term because the visual that I get from a box is just not, you know.
What's wrong with the visual of a box, Kane? What are you trying to say?
Well, not that type of box.
Are you trying to come out? Are you trying to come out and say some things to our audience here?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so we've established Kane doesn't like a vision of a box. Yeah. So he prefers the court.
Yeah, that went way out of the way of where I really wanted.
That's what we try and do here.
That's okay. That's okay.
We try and get to the bottom of secrets.
Yeah, don't catch me off guard with that one. You know? But I think that's and then obviously the way that it's promoted.
Yeah.
You know, I think that most companies, and especially obviously with the economy the way it is, you know, they want to see a return, and you know, for us, it's hard to give them a return because we don't really have a lot of money to start off. And, you know, so a lot of getting, you know, the TV and all that stuff costs money.
Right.
I mean, I think that we were looking at an ESPN spot, and for like a 15-minute spot, it was like $10,000 or some stupid thing. Like it was, you know, don't quote me on that, but it was something ridiculous like that. And I mean, you know, we're having a hard time getting tournaments,
right,
you know, for $10,000, $15,000.
Right.
So, you know, that's another problem too, is that someone that's going to come in and promote the sport and sponsor the sport, I mean, you know, they got to be willing to put some money into it to try and get it to that next level.
Right.
As far as the players, I mean, it's probably one of the fastest sports in the world. You know, I think.
How fast is that ball moving on you know, full out stroke?
Well,
top speed.
I know I'm a little bigger. I kind of grew up a little bit and filled out a little bit. So, you know, I probably hit the ball a little harder than the last time I was clocked. But I was at 172 on my forehand, miles an hour, and 161 on my backhand.
Wow. That's incredibly fast. And then to imagine that it's bouncing at angles off walls with spins.
Yeah.
You're trying to follow
an inch off the ground.
Is ridiculous.
So, yeah, but I mean, you know, I've been playing since I was 2 years old, so it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I mean, it's a pretty popular sport to play. Like participation is still, I feel like, pretty popular. It just hasn't taken off that viewership role, and it probably is because it's too fast.
Well, and I think that
there's not enough courts that are clear, either.
I agree that the not every court, the court that we play at the U.S. Open is 4-wall glass. So we have the capability of putting those cameras there. But when we travel just to these local clubs all around the U.S. and play, sometimes their courts aren't, kind of camera friendly, so to speak. You can only have one camera. I mean, we have IRTnetwork.com, which streams all of our matches live, but I mean, the quality, of course, isn't...
Sure, if you're trying to stream something that's going 172 miles an hour, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So, it's not going to be easy, and for me, I'm not going to lie, it's been a little bit frustrating because I've always felt that with what I'm doing could propel the sport. And one of my goals when I first started the tour was I wanted to make racquetball $1 million sport. Now, whether I made that $1 million or not, I would prefer if I did, but, just propel the sport to the next level. And, my response to people now is, I can't do no better. Like, I can't,
what do you want me to do, guys?
What do you want me to do? I can't do any better. It's 4 years. You tell me if I go another 4 years, finally something will happen. I don't,
Right.
But so it's a little bit frustrating.
So how does that affect your mentality now at this point? How do you stay motivated to be on the top when you've been on the top for so long?
Well, a couple things. First and foremost is, I have a family. I have 2 wonderful, wonderful kids, and I've always viewed, when I walk on the court, whoever I'm playing is trying to take food out of my kid's mouth. And, it's just, at some point I think in everybody's professional career, you have to find a way to self-motivate. And, that's kind of something that makes me tick, thinking about, having the, visualizing somebody walking up to your kid and taking something from them. Yeah. So it gets me going. And,
you have to play those tricks with yourself.
You do.
I know I'm nowhere near the caliber of athlete that you are, but I take my training pretty seriously, and I know in the MMA training and some of the real hard workouts and sparring sessions and just the grueling times, I would play tricks with myself and think about imagining 4 goons like trying to come up and rape my girlfriend or something like that.
That's a little extreme. I'd go ballistic.
Exactly. So you got to get that fire. If you go too heavy, like you'll start to like tear up and you'll like go in full like blood rage, which is fun sometimes, occasionally to do. So actually, let me explain this to the guys. So if you want to go into full blood rage, which I recommend occasionally, you got to really paint that picture. And you got to psych yourself up, and tell yourself, in my case, I'm Aubrey, of course. So it's like, Aubrey, you going to quit? You going to let him do that? Is that all you got? Are you going to let him do that? You going to let him rape your girlfriend? You going to just stand there and watch because you're too fucking tired? Because you're too tired to go another minute? You're too fucking tired and this is going to happen? And, you build yourself into this frenzy and you're like, and you will push yourself past to the point where every cell in your body, every muscle is tingling, your skin is on fire, and you finish in total exhaustion and tears just streaming down your face. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like every night with my kids. No, but you're right. It's just you have to find a way to self-motivate. And also, too, kind of back to the money thing a little bit, it was never really all about the money. I was a pretty good hockey player in my time, and I did have a couple of opportunities. Not saying that I would have made it or would have done anything with it, but I had some opportunities, as far as NHL teams, and I was playing racquetball at the time, and I became successful very quick.
Well, when you can see that you can be literally the best in the world, in one sport, it's it seems like that's your destiny.
I think degree. a big part of it is, I enjoy team sports. I really miss. I've always been. I'm kind of like, even though I'm kind of laid back, I'm kind of like the Ray Lewis when I'm on a team, like a team sport. Like I'll get in your face, I'll do that. And so when I played hockey, I was right in my element with that. But then as I got older and I started looking at it more as like a business, here I am going, yeah, but you know what? If the coach doesn't like my face or doesn't like anything about me, I'm not going to play. So the benefit to racquetball was no one could tell me what I could or couldn't do.
Make your own destiny.
So that was appealing. And, you know, my mom and dad always kind of taught me that money isn't everything. You know, it may seem like a lot, but it's not. It's not everything. And if you do something that you genuinely love, then the money's not going to matter. And as long as you can make an honest living at it, you'll be fine. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, I don't. You know, with money comes fame, and with fame comes a lot of other bullshit too. So, you know, I'm happy with the fact that I can go where I want, do what I want. I don't have people hiding in the bushes taking pictures of me.
Right.
Though it might be a little bit flattering at the beginning.
Right.
But, you know, I'm sure that it gets, you know, just a little bit much for everyone. So it's kind of like one of those things, you know, like just beware of what you wish for. You never know, right? And, you know, I'm not rich by any means, but
you do have a sick car.
I just bought a sick car and I love it. And, you know, maybe I wouldn't appreciate it as much.
Your kids are eating.
Yeah, my kids are eating, yeah. Not in the car, but they're eating.
Yeah, you can't let that shit happen.
No, I got a coupe and I still got a 4-seater just in case I had to take the kids. But the decision was not based on the kids itself. The last vehicle, the kids were
a factor.
I mean, I felt like bringing them and asking them if they
For people who don't know, Kane, what is your car? What is your new car? You have to let people know.
All right, 2012 C63 AMG
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
And it's fast.
Yes.
And it sounds like a snarling Jaguar.
Yes.
Not the car Jaguar, like an actual jungle creature that hides in high canopies. And
the best analogy that I've heard so far is it sounds like a Harley Davidson.
It does actually, yeah.
You know, that's the best analogy I've heard. But yeah, I heard. I didn't even really drive the car, test drive it. I just heard the sound, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what?
You're it.
Yeah, you're it." The M6 was the other one. Now that's a great car too, but
yeah. So you a bit of a motorhead?
A little bit. I mean, I've always kind of liked the whole speed, fast, you know, race car type thing. But at the same time, you know, I mean, I also like the luxury too.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of the nice thing about my car is that I still get the luxury. But I also get the performance as well, too.
Word. So let's go back a little bit here and talk about, you know, what do you think has, obviously there's some natural talents that you've had, but what do you think has allowed you to create yourself mentally and physically to be so dominant in a highly competitive sport like that? Like, what are the practices, habits, you know, things that you go through that you think really separate yourself besides, you know, any natural abilities that you have?
I mean, obviously practice. I mean, you know, without that, I mean, you're only as, what do they say? You're only as good as how much you practice or
and it
something
takes,
like that. And,
you know, 10,000 hours to be a master.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of things like
I
that.
don't know, you know, unfortunately I didn't keep a log of how many times and how many hours and days. But you know, I do know that, you know, from ages 8 to about 19 or 20, I mean, I spent almost 10 hours a day on the court, and that's and by myself. You know, it wasn't a lot of my practicing, and I think that that's kind of where I kind of propelled myself above everyone else because I kind of taught myself.
From 8 to 20, 10 hours a day by yourself on a racquetball court.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like people are just listening and thinking, oh, yeah. No, you don't understand. It's a fucking empty court, not a box.
Yeah,
but it feels like a box.
And we didn't have iPods back there either.
Nothing, just quiet, just the sound of the ball banging off the wall, and you're there by yourself. Mm-hmm. It's like the longest session of athletic masturbation that you could possibly generate.
Yeah, with no climax.
With no climax at the end.
At the end.
Very true. But so what? I mean, what kind of, I mean, to imagine that, you have to think, this guy's got to be mad. He's got to be crazy. He's got to be nuts. What would propel a young lad like yourself to want to do that? I mean, what was going through your head at that point?
Well, you know, I got into it from my dad. Mm-hmm. So I started playing racquetball when I was 2 years old. So, I mean, you know, when I finally reached like 8 or 9, I mean, I was almost a veteran at my club, you know, which is kind of funny, you know, and I've always played older guys but for the most part, it was just one of those things that, you know, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I didn't grow up with a lot of those royalties that, you know, some people do. And, you know, though at the time going through it, I look at it and I go, man, it sucked. But now it was kind of my getaway. You know, it was kind of my, while my friends wanted to go and party and do that. Don't get me wrong. I did my fair share of partying. There's no doubt. But when it was time to get down to business, you know, I was at the court, and, you know, I would miss high school parties. I'd miss, you know, I missed my prom or whatever you want to call it, because I had a tournament, you know. I mean, I had to do community service one time, and I missed my court hearing when I was younger. You know, we got in trouble as little kids, and I missed my court hearing because I was at a tournament. Yeah. You know, so I mean, it was just one of those things that, you know, it was kind of my way to just get away from everything. And what better way than getting into the court and bashing a ball around as hard as you can?
It's kind of a meditation. You know, I was a basketball player, and even still to this day, you know, just going out and shooting some hoops on a quiet court by myself is really calming. You know, it's like a moment. There's something about it. It's a moment to like let your mind kind of unwind, and you know what you're doing, and you're just kind of focused on what your body's doing, and it's really quite peaceful at that level. But, you know, then again, there has to be, while that may take you for the first hour or two, then there has to be a crazy drive to push yourself to practice past that. Yeah, no, past that moment.
I agree. I mean, when I was 8, 9, 10, like I won, when I was 10 years old, I won junior world championships and stuff. Like, I mean.
And how old was that? How old did that go up to?
Well, I mean, you can play 8 and under to 16, 18 and under. But excuse me.
So when you were 10, who were you competing against?
I was competing against other 10-year-olds in the world championships, junior world championships. Right. But as far as overall competition, I was competing against 30-year-old, 40-year-olds, 20-year-olds. I mean, in my first tournament, it was when I was 4 years old. I played Ladies C, and then I won my first tournament when I was 5.
So you're 5 years old and you played in a ladies C level.
So and they were all like, you know, 25 or above. Some of them were 40.
Did you get to bang them after you beat them? Was that the rule?
No. I unfortunately I wasn't.
You weren't quite
I don't know. I don't think I was old enough. Maybe my dad. I don't know.
So he collected the bounty for you?
Yeah, he owes me, by the way.
Yeah, because I think that's how Ladies C racquetball works. Actually,
I think so too.
You beat them and then you get to mount them.
Yeah, well,
it's like
hence the C part of it, right?
yeah. Exactly. Wow, man, what a crazy situation. So then, a lot of practice. So that's one. A lot of practice. Yeah, that's one factor.
I did have a huge advantage though. My grandma lived across the street from the racquetball club, like literally across the street. So that was a huge advantage. My dad would drop me off at my grandma's house, and I would walk over to the club. And so, you know, in the morning, I'd go hit, you know, usually about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, this is, of course, not when I was 10, 11, 12. Right, it was more like when I was 15, 16 and decided that this was going to be my job. You know, 7, 8 in the morning, 8 in the morning, I'd go until about 11 o'clock, whether it's lifting weights, running, swimming, whatever it was. And then I'd go back to my grandma's and have a little bit of lunch, watch some TV, and go back. And from 1 o'clock to about 9 o'clock, you know, I'd be... You know, and I mean, you know, it's when you say 10 hours a day, I mean, there was little lulls in between and stuff, but still, I mean, overall, you know, an average of 10 hours a day. And I never got bored of it. It was just, one of those things I just really, really enjoyed. And of course, you know, it was a good little bonding, you know, thing for me and my dad too. So that was kind of good. And then, of course, you reach the age where hanging out with your dad isn't cool anymore, you know, like drop me off a block away and all that fun stuff, you know. So, you know, we kind of started playing. He always said that he was going to retire when I beat him, and it definitely came quicker than what he expected.
It's like, shit, I'm not ready to retire.
Yeah, shit is probably, you know, the nicest word you could use. You know, I think it was about 15 years old that I beat him, and
so he was a professional.
No, he was never professional. He never played any professional tournaments. He was ranked pretty high in Canada. I mean, you know, I mean, it wasn't, you know, he never like pushed to win national titles or anything. But also, he was just a local guy at the club that just brought his son, and we just played local tournaments, and you know, I had a chance to go to world championships. So he took me to junior world championships, and then I won, and I got approached by a company for, you know, free equipment, and kind of just all snowballed from there. Yeah. It's funny because when I look back on it, there was never one point where I said to myself, this is what I want to do when I get older. It's really weird. Like, I mean,
you just got on the train tracks and
kind of, yeah. It was like, you know, I actually quit racquetball to play hockey when I was 11 years old. And I played hockey until about 14. And then my dad talked me into playing again. There was a tournament coming up, local tournament. He asked me to play, and I said, sure, why not? So I played a couple times, but we went and we won. I kind of caught the bug a little bit again.
Yeah.
I was like, this is pretty cool. I got to see all the old, you know, all the friends again, all the old guys,
Right,
you know,
right,
it's
right.
kind of cool. And I was like, I'll start playing a little bit more. Well, a year after I started playing again, I go to my Canadian Senior Nationals and I win. And next thing you know, I'm A-carded. So here I am, 16 years old, making $30,000 tax-free money a year. And I'm on the national team. I get to go travel around the world and play for Team Canada. And I mean, it just kind of all happened. And it was like, well, I guess I'll just kind of ride this wave until, you know, it's no
Sure.
more. And well,
here you are.
still on that wave, I guess.
Here you are. So how much longer do you think you got in this crazy sport here?
You know, that's one of kind of the unknowns, you know, about sports in general. I mean, you know, I could go, you know, do my training session after we're done this, and I could hurt myself and never step on the court again. Or,
Right.
I mean, we could be sitting here
So
15 years.
barring injury, you know, I mean, how long do you think you'll still have the drive to be competing and still doing it?
As long as my kids live in my house.
Yeah, as long as you're still putting food in their mouth, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love what I do, and
Yeah.
that's a huge advantage. I would have to say not a lot of people in this world can say they love what they do for a living, and I absolutely love what I do. Now, I don't love traveling. I love traveling when I was, you know, no kids, and just me and my wife, you know,
Sure.
It was easier. So the traveling's a little bit much, but you know, I'll just try and take care of my body as best as I can, and obviously, you know, I put a little bit of burden on you for that too. You know, you got
That's
all the
it,
magic
right?
product.
We got
you know?
on it taking care of you now.
That's
so you
right.
Could go,
So
you could be winning championships into your 50s.
All right, well, let's do this when I'm 55, and you know, maybe
So how many world championships do you have in a row?
7
7 in a row.
in a row. Yeah.
So your one loss in 4 years ago wasn't in the world championships?
No, so it's what it is it has there's X amount of tournaments, so 12 tournaments, and it's an accumulative point system. So
okay,
every
yeah. So
turn,
kinda
it's
like
like
skiing,
tennis.
like
It's
skiing or
we've
tennis,
kind of
yeah.
adopted a similar ranking system as tennis,
Right.
and so you play all the tournaments, and then you know add up all the points, and you
Right.
get your total, and that's it. So it's not like you know you lose one tournament and
Right. So there's
you're
not
done.
one playoff, so to speak.
No,
So,
it's-
so you basically maintain world number 1, been crowned the champion 7 years running.
Yes.
When
Like Federer has nothing on me.
yeah, yeah.
I hope
know.
he's listening. That's a challenge. No, that's a challenge to Federer.
What's up, Feds? You listening?
Yeah.
You listening?
I'm actually going to take
it
this
on-
racket right here.
Take it to the hardwood. Yeah, I do have a nice.
You mind if I beat him with his own
I have a
racket?
signed Federer racket next to a signed Kane racket.
Yeah,
Right
I
here.
think I should probably take that racket and see maybe if I can beat him with his own racket. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think you should. So yeah, you should play with you play a bit of tennis, right?
A little bit.
If you hit with his racket, you're like, what the fuck is he hitting with? He strings his racket so impossibly loose. Like
Really?
impossibly loose.
Huh.
I don't know what the string tension is on that.
So do
but
I,
but
actually.
crazy.
It's
Do
funny.
you?
A lot of people in racquetball string their rackets between, 35 and 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, when I was a little younger and I was a little more reckless and swinging all crazy, I was down to 29 at one point for my string tension. But now I'm a little older and things hurt a little more. And,
Right.
not saying anything, but, it's the truth.
Yeah.
I get a few more aches and pains than I normally, would have when I was younger. That's how it happens. But, it's it's one of those things. It's, for me, the whole relation for tennis and racquetball is I get that all the time when I'm at tournaments. You play tennis? A little bit.
Yeah.
No, do you not see where you are right now?
Yeah. This is what I do. This is my job.
But I love watching tennis. Like, did you watch the Australian Open?
A bit.
Oh man, I mean, I'm a fan of Federer, without a doubt. I'm a fan of Federer. I mean, he smooth, just,
and his mental toughness too is pretty phenomenal.
Well, he's kind of like the same. Like, you know, I mean, he has really no more to accomplish. I mean, it's like we go back to the self-motivating thing, you know?
But at least he has rivals to push him. You know,
true.
Like
that is
true.
true.
Oh, shit, it's Federer and Nadal, and everybody gets all fired up. And, you know, Nadal's going to bring the stink. You know, he's going to run around. He's going to do his thing. Same with Djokovic. You know, like these guys are like pushing him, you know, which in a lot of ways makes it easier.
Yeah, but at some point, you know, there was a point where no one really was either.
Him.
And I'm sure that point is going to come for me too. I'm sure. And, you know, I joke around with people all the time because I say, you know what? All I'm doing is I'm just trying to delay the inevitable. That's all I'm trying to do, you know, because eventually it's going to happen, you know. And, you know, it's not an easy pill for me to swallow, you know.
How much do you detest losing?
Well, it's going to sound bad, but I've actually forgotten what it feels like to lose. Like, and I know
that's like the best. That's the best shit talking line. I use that occasionally.
Yeah,
like I'll lose something. I'm like, man, thank you for reminding me what it feels like to lose. Let's play again.
It sounds so bad. It really does. It sounds horrible, but it's the truth. Like, the closest I can say is when I don't play good.
Yeah.
You know,
So how hard on yourself then when you don't play good? What's your own? You know, I mean, but you're still winning. That's the thing. It's like way easier to be brutal on yourself when you miss a shot and you lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. You know, I mean, most people they win, they think they do everything right.
Right.
And so why do I need to analyze it? I won.
Right.
You know, but for me,
holding yourself to your own internal standard.
Yeah, I have high standards for myself, and trust me, I know what I can and what I can't do. And there's not too much that I can't do on a racquetball court. Sure. And, you know, I think also, too, with all that being said, no one will ever outsmart me on the court either. I think that's another reason why I haven't been beaten or even pushed for a while is because, you know, there's a lot of little scenarios that happen in one match of racquetball. You know, you come out with your game plan, it doesn't work. You know, when you're playing great, it's real easy to just ride that wave. But when you're not playing good, how do you change it? You know, maybe some shots, you know, one of your, you know, couple of shots, your bread and butter, you're not hitting, you got to change it. How is your opponent playing? You know, maybe he's returning a serve better one day, and he's not returning a different serve better. I mean, so there's a lot of little scenarios that play out, and you know, that's when the mental side of it and knowing, you know, when to make the right changes and you know, and you go back to Federer. I mean, that's part of Federer's success.
He does that well.
And
you see people not abiding by that a lot. You see it in fighting, you know, I mean, in MMA, you'll see someone come out with just a bad strategy and not change. You know, like they'll try something for the first round, not working at all. You know, they went away from their strength. They're doing something weird. And you're like, okay, like make the adjustment. And even sometimes the corner will be like, hey, make the adjustment. And they just won't do it.
Yeah,
you
which is a bad trait, but a good trait too. It's like you're sticking to your game plan, but it's not working. So you got to...
There's the balance. Yeah, you got to know when to stick with it and when to abandon ship and try something new.
Yeah, and in defense to that person who just sticks with their game plan, it could work too. I mean, you know, it could turn around and it could all of a sudden change. That's the beautiful part about sports. But for the most part, you have to be willing to change. That's another thing. You have to be willing to change it too, you know?
Right.
So it's
just
like
not overly stubborn.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been watching UFC ever since, you know, Hoist Gracie and, you know, all those guys. And, you know, it's funny because you'd always see at the beginning of the UFC, when it first started, to me, it was like, they were one-dimensional. You had the
strikers,
you had the strikers,
grapplers,
you had the grapplers, you had the boxers, the street fight, whatever. You know, and now, you know, and it's slowly, you know, you look at Chuck Liddell, you know, and then you look, you know, those type of guys. Like I think what he would still be fighting now, if he kind of changed the style a little bit, got on the ground a little. Not saying he can't, but now fighters are so versatile. They have every part of their
You
game.
got to be completely well-rounded.
Exactly. And that's just how sports evolves, you know, and even in racquetball, you can see it, you know, past champions, they always had one or two great things that they always had.
But they had weaknesses.
And
a savage like yourself can exploit those weaknesses.
That's right. That's right. But I got to be smart enough to.
No, I hear you. And I want to go back to one thing you said about holding yourself to your own standard. I think that's a real, you know, trait of successful people. You know, I'm happen to be good friends with Bodie Miller, who's the most successful U.S. skier in history. And, you know, he'll finish a race, win or loss, it doesn't matter. If he wins or he loses, he judges himself on how he skied that race. Mm-hmm. The result is inconsequential to his own feeling of pride or, you know, wanting to look back and change something. You know, it's funny, you know, I've seen him win races and be like, yeah, this is bullshit. Let's get out of here. You know, because he didn't ski the way he wanted to ski. And I've seen him ski and lose and be like, I fucking brought it today. I was on it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, to him, that was the most important thing. A lot of times victory does correlate with, you know, the performance that you're happy with, but sometimes it doesn't, you know. And I think even in non-athletics, you know, I've kind of found the same thing. You know, now my business endeavors are, let's say I'm doing a podcast, you know, and I can have 20 people say, oh, Aubrey, man, that was an awesome podcast. Like, so, but I'll know myself if I was sharp, if I brought up what I wanted to bring up, if I was present, if I was in the moment, you know, regardless of the result, you know, I know internally how well I did. And same when I show up at work every day.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. You know, in some previous business endeavors, I was externally successful, you know, and I would have people congratulate me on my position, but I never like was able to take that in, you know, just because I knew I hadn't brought everything that I could. To the table.
I mean, I'd have to say that even though in these 4 years I'm undefeated, I would have to say that I've walked off the court disappointed with myself more than I have been happy with myself. You know, the win, I know the feeling of winning. That's not the issue anymore,
right.
You know. But in that whole 4 years, it's not like I played lights out the whole 4 years.
Right.
You know, and so I've walked off the court beating someone in 20 minutes, and I turned to my wife, and I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, this is absolutely bullshit. And here's my wife going, What do you want to do? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, get back to the room and I'm all quiet. And she's like, you know, I can't even believe you have this attitude. You won. And it's like, yeah, but, you know, I mean, sometimes I win and I don't feel like I should win.
Right.
You know, and even though I win, it doesn't feel like the win just because, you know, I know what I can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And, you know, look, that's the beautiful thing about athletics is that, and, you know, it's just, you never know how you're going to play from day to day. You know, one day, and that's kind of...
You just got to stack the odds in your favor.
Well, that's what's so cool, I think, about the body itself, the mind and the body. That's where I kind of get a little bit intrigued, you know, is because it's like my tournaments generally run Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, on Friday, now, granted, the competition from the first round to the finals is different, but, you know, Friday and Saturday, I bring it, kick the shit out of the guy, bring it, beat him in 15 minutes. And then in the finals, you know, it's like I'm not seeing the ball right. You know, my stroke doesn't feel good. I'm not hitting the ball as hard or as crisp or, you know, I mean, and that's kind of the intriguing part to me.
It is. No,
you know?
There's some weird stuff, you know, even for me who's, you know, I'm supplementing and doing really good things for my body as much as possible and kind of been, you know, working out, you know, really hard since I was, I don't know, like you said, 10 or something like that. Y'all still get surprised in both sides. Like I was in the gym the other day and I've been traveling a lot. I've been fucking off, you know, so I was expecting the typical like decline in strength and ability. And for some weird reason, like, you know, I have no idea why, I was like stronger than I was 6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. You know, and the body just somehow, some combination of rest and whatever it was that day was allowed me to do that. And it used to be like that when I was playing ball. Like some days I could get up and dunk the ball and be like, yeah, right on. And then other days I'd go up and like set my focus and go up to go hammer one, and it would be like not even close.
Yeah, actually, you know what's funny is that actually happened to me yesterday. I went and hit the ball with my wife and got in there, and I hadn't hit the ball for about a week and a half. You know, I was just kind of nursing a couple of injuries, and thought, you know, hey, I'll go hit the ball with my wife. No big deal. Got in the court, and I started hitting the ball, and I was like, I am hitting the fucking shit out of the ball right now. And I'm like, I feel so good. And so I hit some forehands, go to the backhand, hit some back. I'm like, geez, this is unbelievable. Hit some serves. Wife walks on the court. Hasn't even warmed up yet. My wife didn't even walk onto the court. Walks on the court. I go, I'm done at any time. I can go home anytime. My wife is like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I feel absolutely awesome. Like, I was like, I feel great.
I got it.
It was just like, okay, you know, it was like one of those things, like just being reassured that I still know how to do it, you know?
Right,
but sometimes, you know, that time off, you know, just letting your body heal, and not only that, letting the mind heal too, you know, take your mind off of it a little bit. Yeah. You know, you get so engulfed sometimes when it's your job, you know, and when you do that, then you really start looking at it as a job instead of looking at it as something you love.
As a joy.
Yeah, you know, and I've done that more than a couple of times in my career. But of course, you know, being the number one player, you have people expect certain things from you. Tournament directors expect certain things from you. So,
and it's the same with people in your job. You know, whatever, you're going to have expectations to live up to. But I think that's a good point, is to give yourself a mental break.
I think more than the physical break, I think the mental break can be just as good. I mean, my tournament in beginning of November this past year, I was hurt and I didn't touch a racket for 2 weeks before the tournament. Went to the tournament and no one got over 5 points on me. And I walk away from the tournament going, I mean, even my buddy that was with me, I'm like, I can't even believe we're sitting in the airport. And I'm like, I can't even believe. I look at the scores and I'm like, this is insane. Like, I didn't even touch the ball. I didn't even touch a racket. I didn't even at home. I didn't even go into my racquetball bag and grab the damn racket. Like, I didn't even do anything. I literally packed my bag, went. No, and I really honestly thought that might have been the time, you know, that
someone was going to catch you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that every single time I play, you know, and that might be because why I don't lose that often is because I respect everybody I play. Whether I know I can beat you or can't beat you, when we walk on the court, it's irrelevant. Like they say, that's why we play the game.
Right.
You know, and so I've tried to make a conscious effort to respect everyone that I play and try as hard as I can. And I've always felt too that if I don't, then I'm almost doing a disservice to them as well too.
That's absolutely right.
I mean, because I know if you had some of my competitors here talking with us, I mean, they would probably say, I don't want to hear you say that you don't try.
No, that's
insulting. That's insulting, you know, and that's not the truth. I mean, I try as hard as I can, and I try and bring it every time I step on the court, even if it's for practice. And I'm sure that those guys, as you know, mad or upset that they're not winning right now, I'm sure they respect it, you know, and I push them to get a little bit better as well too, you know.
That's why, you know, it's funny. I play a bit of ping pong. I'm sure you do as well. We'll have to tangle in that sport. But, you know, I'll be playing very social games. You know, there's some people I can get super competitive with and just
that probably wouldn't be me at all. Not at all. No, we'd probably just be real calm.
I anticipated it'd be a fucking war. Yeah. But then, you know, there's the people who just want to play ping pong with you, and they still want to be competitive. But if you played all out, they're just not going to get to hit the ball. So I'll play left-handed, or I'll play with my cell phone as the paddle or something like that. And it's kind of being kind of a cocky prick, you know, or a frying pan. I beat a lot of people with a frying pan. But it's also a way for me to actually try. Like, at that point, then I can try, and I can it can be like, going full out, you know? Yeah,
because you don't want to lose. No. And here you are going, I'm just going to grab this bottle here, and I'm going to beat you with this bottle. And the guy's going, fuck off. And you're going... Oh my God! I better beat him. Like,
this is the only way that this whole game gets fun on a competitive level.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So you haven't tried to do that though. You haven't.
I beat someone with a frying pan. I did. Yeah, on TV. There's an interview. I don't know. It's on YouTube somewhere. I saw it, and I literally.
A man of my own heart, Kane. A man of my own heart.
Yeah. It was actually quite fun. But mind you, I never once felt threatened, even though it was only a frying pan.
That's awesome.
It's too similar. It's too similar to a racket.
Right.
So, yeah.
But not really that similar.
No, but
but
shape-wise. I mean, it's got a handle, and it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Teflon?
yeah, non-stick. Yeah, I don't want the non-stick, yeah.
If we play, I'm going to have make use of fucking cast iron. Then we'll see. Then we'll really see if you
All right, I'll do. You know what I'll do? I'll do a few more. Push-ups and sit-ups to get myself a little stronger.
That's funny. So when you play, one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, you have like a pre-serve ritual that looks very OCD from the outside going in. So what is that? Is that some kind of OCD, or is it a way to kind of get your mind? Why are you doing that? And explain what you do before you serve.
Well, I believe in routine. And the more you can get into a routine, the more comfortable you're going to be. And that's kind of one of the... we only have 10 to 15 seconds in between rallies. So in that 10 to 15 seconds, I usually just hit the ball, because I feel like every person in sports has a little bit of OCD. To what degree, I don't really know.
Absolutely.
But...
and superstition.
Yeah, I used to have that. I don't have it anymore.
Good. You rid yourself of that?
Yeah. But... for the most part, I'm trying to clear my mind, forgetting about whether I got a bad call or whatever the case may be last rally, and just clearing my mind, getting ready, focused, what serve I'm going to hit. And that's really it,
So you bounce the ball off the corners of the racket in the same way every time. Mm-hmm. And I've seen you. Do you repeat it if it didn't go exactly?
No.
It's just all the same.
No, and sometimes I don't do it all the time. Now, in the early matches, I kind of like to overwhelm my opponent. So I don't do that, because it's like rally's over, I get into the service box,
right,
and I start serving.
Just push the pace, like a no-huddle offense.
Exactly, because I know that those guys aren't going to be able to, to keep up. Mm-hmm. Whereas, in the finals or even in the semifinals, obviously the competition is better. So, you just want to take that little bit of time to get refocused for whatever happened the last rally. Sometimes, you get a bad call and it may rattle you a little bit, depending on, at what point in the match. And so it's just it's what I do just to kind of clear my mind and, get ready for what's about to come.
It makes sense. So you're almost like, I've been reading a lot of one book in particular, talking about bringing yourself to the zero state. And they're talking about it in a spiritual sense, but also in an athletic sense. That's the state where you're in the zone, where your mind shuts down to a certain degree, and you're just allowing what, naturally will come, the inspiration that comes from your own knowledge and any kind of higher knowledge and all the training and everything, to just act without you interfering. More often than not, I think there is some strategic element to your actual computing brain, that you're using. And you kind of set that up beforehand and you make some analysis and decisions. But when you're actually playing and reacting, the best state in every sport that I've ever participated in is when that part's shut off. And
you're not thinking, you're just doing.
You just let that all go, and you're nothing. You have, no mind, as the Zen sword masters would say.
My coach is funny, because a lot of the times, we're driving, to the club or to my match or whatever, and we'll be driving 15 minutes and not one word will be said. Mm-hmm. And we'll get out of the car, and he'll just look at me and he'll just go, I don't even have to ask you if you're ready. As soon as I get,
Talk about that job. I could be your fucking coach.
Yeah,
Come on, seriously. How hard is it to be that? I'm sure your coach is a great dude. But how hard? How hard is it to be?
Yeah, well, coach? I guess at this point, not very hard. But there was a point where, he did help me with, my serve. When I first came on tour, my serve was okay. But now it's a real weapon. Yeah. And so I have to give it to him. And, the thing is that I understand it's probably pretty tough for him, but, because obviously the goal is winning. And when you're winning, what do I have to do? Right. That's kind of,
you still got to push to improve. And that's it. That's what we've been talking about.
And that's exactly right. And that's what I love about him. That's what I absolutely love about him, is that, we work so well together because we're never content. We're never comfortable with where we're at. We're never content. We're always trying to push it to that next level. And even he's pushing me to the next level. You know, I'll go to, you know, a tournament, you know, kick everyone's ass, and then here we are, you know, next day sending me a whole page of things that he saw that he thinks I need to work on, you know? I mean, that's beautiful. That's what you want, you know?
Absolutely.
The day that I have a conversation with him and we go, well, I don't know, you know, I don't know. I might have to think about picking another profession.
Right.
You know, that's how I feel about it.
Well, that day will never come, though. You know,
no.
'Cause you keep perfection as the ideal, knowing full well that you'll never attain it. You know, and
that's exactly
how
right.
you stay focused.
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
So to go back to that state where you're releasing your mind, have you ever studied any Zen philosophy or tried to apply that to other aspects of your life, or is that something you just do for your racquetball?
No, I've always kind of been. I like to relate things in my life and things that I would like to change and stuff, you know, and so how am I trying to say it? I start to think about, you know, sometimes when I'm at a tournament, you know, I think about how when I was nobody, you know, and everybody, or even when I started winning and everybody said, oh, he's not going to be the greatest, he's not going to be the best player in the world, or, you know, and I mean, those are the motivating factors for me, but, you know, I've never really sat back and thought about it really all that much. I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know. I kind of am a believer of just letting it happen, you know?
Well, that's the essence of Zen itself. And that's Zen applied to Zen. Whoa, you're going deep here.
Whoa,
okay?
No, you're going a little deep here.
Well, speaking of going deep, we got 10 minutes here left on the Warrior Poet podcast. And the last few minutes we got to talk about on it, because I know you've been pumped about using some of those products and stuff.
Yeah.
But we got 7 minutes, and you know I have to drag you into some deeper waters here, because you specially requested that from me beforehand. So let's talk about what are your spiritual beliefs here, Kane?
Spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
Man.
What happens when you die?
What happens when you die? I won't be number one anymore.
True. True.
You know, it's interesting, but I haven't really ever given it much thought. You know, it's like.
So what about the fear of death? Do you carry with you a fear of death, or is that just something that's not a factor?
I fear death now because I'm a parent.
Right.
And I want to see my kids grow up, and I want to see them get married, and I want to be a grandpa and stuff like that. But, you know, I think it's when it's your time, and you know, I don't think that there's, you know, everything happens for a reason, you know, and sometimes that reason.
That's a spiritual belief in itself.
Yeah.
So what is causing everything to happen for a reason, Kane?
You know, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
You've just seen it.
You know what? I've never really gotten this deep, especially with a guy before.
I don't know. You're talking. You don't like those visions of boxes. So who knows? Who knows, Kane?
True. No, I mean, you know, when I was younger, I just believed that when you die, it's done. You know, and
in the dirt, feeding worms.
In the dirt, that's it. That's done. And I think that as I've gotten a little older, I've wanted to believe more that there's life after death, and you know, and I think more so now. I had one of my favorite dogs pass away just this past year, and I never really looked at it like this, but I was like, you know, one day I'll see you again, and I found myself sitting there going, okay, hold on here, you know.
Disney says that all dogs go to heaven.
Exactly. But you know, for me, you know, it was like I never really thought about like the afterlife, you know. But then when she died, I was kind of like, you know, that's okay. One day I'll see you again. It'll be, you know. But where my beliefs before were kind of more along the lines of, it's just over, you know. Yeah. So I guess, you know, in that sense, I guess I've kind of changed a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm. But it's, you know, it hasn't been a dominant force in your life. It doesn't, you know, the fears, the things don't really detract, and it's just kind of, it seems like an open-minded agnostic is how you would talk about it.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably a better way to be, because the more you try to choke down other people's philosophies, the more bullshit you're choking along with it.
I think that the process of growing up, you come to the conclusion with your own beliefs, and you start believing, you know, as things transpire in your life, as things go on, you know, you kind of take on your own belief system.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key core to anything that's true. And what all of the shamans that you see, what all the experiential spirituality will teach you is, you don't need to listen to anything. Anything that's true, you can find out for yourself. So all this talk about read these words and have faith, bullshit. If you can't feel it and see it yourself somehow, maybe you're not quite capable yet, but if you went on that path to see it and use the proper tools, to see that, you could experience the same truth and come to the same conclusions. And I think that is the ultimate litmus test for true spirituality. Can you come to those same conclusions if given the right circumstances, given the right motivation? And if the answer to that is no, then it's probably not true.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always, my parents always kind of said, do what you believe in, and so it's always been hard for me to hear someone else speak about their beliefs and then kind of ride those coattails.
Right.
It's always kind of been,
for yourself.
I don't know. And just because I believe one thing doesn't mean that you're going to believe the same thing. Now, there might be people that believe the same thing as I do, but I think that just overall things that transpire in our life and the process of growing up and the people you surround yourself with, it kind of gives you your own, kind of spiritual beliefs, if and that's kind of how I've done it. I've never really sat down and thought about it, really.
Right. Well, you haven't done enough mushrooms then.
Yeah, probably not.
that's
only shroom tech.
Only shroom tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nice segue.
And they're kind of magic.
You're like a professional radio guy.
Almost.
So let's talk about. We got 5 minutes left. Let's talk about some of the Onnit products that you've been trying out, because of course this podcast is sponsored by Onnit.com, ONNIT.com, where you can get some fine supplements that badass world record holding racquetball champion, 7-time.
But let's make it clear, just because you
lost in 4 years, people will also be taking along with you at the same time.
That's exactly right. Yes, but however, just because you take it doesn't mean that you're going to come and beat me either. Okay, so I believe in your product, but
it's not a magic fairy dust pill.
Yeah, no, it's not. No.
So how's it helped you? What are some of the products you've enjoyed and interacted with?
Well, I'd have to say that. Well, you know this as well. I do. One of my favorites is the Tonka bar.
Oh, the Tonka bar. He loves the Tonka bar.
Oh, those things are unbelievable, unreal. I could live on those things.
Yeah.
So
what is it you like so much about those Tonka bars? They're a great company, by the way. I'm just in touch with those guys, and really conscious company, the way that they're making it. Very keen on tradition, and a cool company.
Well, first of all, I love beef jerky. Right? I love beef jerky. I love those beef products like that. So, honestly, if you sat here and told me it does nothing for you, I'd still like it just as much.
Well, no, I mean, it's protein and nutrients. It's food. It's food. It's straight up food.
It's just, for me, it's a really good product for after I'm done playing.
Yeah. Quick snack.
I don't mind shakes, but I'm more of like, I need solid. I need something, I mean,
to eat,
the shake is great and everything, but, maybe one day when I got no teeth and I'm old, I'll worry about, liquid diets.
Yeah.
So I really like that bar. And obviously the taste is absolutely phenomenal. One of the other, two of the other products I really, really enjoy is the New Mood and the Immune, the Shroom Tech Immune.
Yep.
I've actually given the Shroom Tech Immune to friends, and they've been really, really sick, and within 2 or 3 days, and so I feel like I'm like pushing it on them, like take it.
You're like a doctor.
You're gonna get better, and
like a doctor, as Joey Diaz would say, like a doctor.
The New Mood. The way I wake up in the morning with the New Mood, especially after having a long day of training, and of course, my kids wake me up at 5 a.m. Doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter what time I go to bed or they go to bed. They're up at 5 a.m. So the New Mood actually really helps me because I wake up feeling awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable how how you can get a little bit of sleep, but if it's a New Mood, night, and you'll feel like you've gotten a lot more sleep.
Yeah. I like to. I try and take it every night, but I really focus on taking it after a long, hard day, where I know for a fact that the next day when I have to wake up, it's going to be absolutely horrible. And I'm not really a coffee drinker, so I don't.
Well, maybe you just haven't tried our bulletproof coffee.
No, I haven't.
You should try that.
See, that's on you right there, by the way.
I know. We'll get you hooked up. We got all kinds of new stuff. We're dropping new shit on it like every week. It's crazy. The next 2 months are nuts, man.
I know. You know what else is really good? The Killer Bee honey.
Yeah, stuff's good.
That shit is screaming. that is pretty good. So when you gave me the product, right? I said, okay, he says that it's the best honey I'll ever taste. So what did I do? I went to Central Market and I bought me some honey.
Yep.
And I thought you were lying, and you weren't. You weren't. You were actually being honest.
Yeah.
It's great. No.
They know how to pollinate.
Yeah, they'll kill you and
they'll pollinate.
You.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Alpha Brain. I take the Alpha Brain. Now, see, the Alpha Brain and the Shroom Tech Sport, I first started taking. I did like two little experiments, so to speak. Okay, so I didn't really take it every day. Mm-hmm. So when I first started taking it, I took it right before racquetball matches. Mm-hmm. It made me feel phenomenal. I mean, I would have to say the thing that I enjoyed the most was the clarity of the way I saw the ball, my reaction time, stuff like that. And then I was like, let me see what it's like taking it for a couple of weeks. And I think that just overall, it's just a good product. I could sit here and try and sell you on a bunch of stuff, but it's just a good product. It's a product that you can take when you need it, or it's a product that you can take every day if you want.
Hell yeah.
I mean, what better is that? I mean,
just vary the dose a little bit. That's what I do. There's I have a maintenance dose of Alpha Brain, 1 to 2, and then if I got to be focused, like I'm going on the Rogan podcast or something like that, then I'm bumping it up. I'm taking 3.
Well, see, you almost made me feel like a junkie in a way because
yeah, your dose is savage. Don't even mention how many. He's pushing AJ Hawk for the most amount of.
I am. Well, I was. Here's the thing. When I started taking it for the 2 weeks, after about a week and a half, I was like, I got to up this. And I mean, and of course, you scared me when you said, well, don't take too much because if you do, then, you could feel like you ever smoke a cigar before and you get that feeling. And I'm like, that's the worst feeling in the world,
You got to watch out with the Alpha Brain. You'll get almost like a nicotinic reaction.
But at one point I was 4 and 4. Yeah, I was 4 Alpha
strong.
Brains and 4 Shroom Tech Sport.
I gotta say that I've tried to limit my Shroom Teching to 4, but occasionally I'll take 5, and I'm like a man possessed. I'll finish a full body workout and go buy a leg press machine and be like, oh shit, I can do some leg presses. Yeah, I've never had that thought ever. Finish a brutal kettlebell workout, do some other training, and then walk by a leg press and be like, oh, that looks good. Only Shroom Tech can get me to have that thought. And that's
you get
the
that.
Truth,
you get that vibrating feeling throughout your whole body,
right.
never mind the cigar feeling. You feel, it's, but yeah, those products for playing have been unbelievable. And of course, I go back to the New Mood. That's really important for me. Yeah. Especially when I'm traveling, and also to the Immune too. Yeah. I mean, those 2 products are great for me just in traveling, getting to tournaments, wanting to, having to wake up early, getting ready for the match, later in the day. Just that feeling of waking up, brand new is a good feeling.
I hear you, brother. That's been that's a wrap for us.
That's it?
Kane. That's it, man.
We can't go no longer?
That hour goes fast.
We can't go no longer?
No, it's a 1-hour podcast.
Oh, man.
I ain't Joe Rogan. I can't talk for 3 hours. I'm not high enough.
All right. Hey, Joe, call me if you need anyone. An hour isn't good enough for me.
All right, my brother. So if people want to Google you, it's Kane, Kane, Waselenchuk. Let me try this. Waselenchuk.
Yes, that's it.
Boom. Boom, bitches. I got it. So Google him. Check out some of his matches. It's pretty sick. It's pretty insane stuff.
YouTube as well.
Yeah.
I think you can get
Google will get you to YouTube.
Are you sure?
Usually. I think they're the same company. But
yeah, maybe you might want to stay away from my name. I don't know what comes up when you get my name up there,
You never know. Just stay off the other kind of
I wasn't the best kid when I was younger, so you never know.
All right, my brother. Well, thanks for stopping by. Much love, and keep kicking ass.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I had fun.
Every once in a while.
You better call me to do this again.
Hell yeah.
All right, good.
Just the beginning.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
All right.
All right, man.
Good,
all right, thanks.